The Human Rights Defender Network Saloon, they come up with the program title State of Independence, moving with the good, the bad, and the ugly in the freedom train. This program will come up first Tuesday inside every month from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And this program go to meet you from AYV TV channel 33. This program go look and talk about human rights education, the rule of law, justice, accountability, and democracy. Be part of the program and know waiting the happen na saloon. The Human Rights Defender Network Saloon don't snap before per human rights business na saloon. Watch State of Independence, moving with the good, the bad, the ugly in the freedom train every first Tuesday inside every month na AYV TV channel 33. The Human Rights Defender Network Saloon, they get support from Irish Aid for bring this program come to una. Well, you self can support the Human Rights Defender Network through this Orange and AfriMoney number. The Orange Money number na 073 628 700. AfriMoney na 088 122 262. Or you can use bank account for support the Human Rights Defender Network Saloon. And the account number na 601 016 4893. And the bank name na Zenith Bank SL. The account name na Human Rights Defender Network. Don't forget to for be part of the program and know but team them with the happen inside saloon.
This train is far.
Welcome, Famulem, into with the new edition of State of Independence, moving with the good, the bad, and the ugly in the freedom train. Today, on the 3rd of May, 2022, and we will continue with program where now State of Independence, moving with the good, the bad, and the ugly in the freedom train. Me, they bring the program to know with the magistrates, me na Alphonsus Biangbani, we are the Executive Secretary, Human Rights Defenders Network Sierra Leone. With me in the studio for make we continue with discussions and for make we discuss really what's the meaning of this week program and we will get for look at what happened from when we get to independence from 1961 to the last independence we just celebrated on April 27, 2022. We'll get for see what in the side that Kotoku. What it mean for make we celebrate independence? What are the challenges? What are the good things them we don't see? What are the bad things that will don't happen? What are the opportunities where they ahead for we as a nation in this country? But for make we discuss this thing, I get with me, I mean left hand side, Mr. Solomon Subandi, when I'm the director for Amnesty International, Sierra Leone, and same way so, the chairman of the board of directors of Human Rights Defenders Network. You go say hello to Famudem, please.
Good evening.
On the right hand side now, I get Mr. John Paul Bai, when I am the director of the Sierra Leone Alliance and a member of the network. You go say hello to Famudem, please.
Famudem Kabo.
All right, Famudem, as I don't tell you in the intro, where they can look at the theme of with this program, we're in a state of independence, moving with the good, the bad, and the ugly. So today's program, we can do a thorough reflection as a nation, as a people. We don't 61 years of self-governance. What does that 61 years of self-governance mean to we? What does it mean to we as a nation? What do we as a people we don't see say we don't succeed, we don't achieve? And we'll go for look at them from different angles. We all believe say what we don't achieve now then different sectors there also. And that's where they can begin. But before we go inside it, let's just ask me two panels there, make them all just tell me what it just mean for we will talk about independence or self-governance. What does that mean for we as a nation? Let's start with you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bani. I think we look at the issue of independence, the way we're able to know for ourselves, we're able to plan our own future, we're able to use the available resources, both human and material resources, for develop ourselves. More than myself, where they're born within a family, stage the way they reach, where you know what they for your mama and daddy again. You go really live on your own. That means you don't get some level of independence. You know they're under their control again. You know they're under their roof. You did by yourself, you did plan your own life, and then say they look you and see say yes, this people here, whether boy or girl or man or woman, it develop. So independence simply means for this in a context means the stage where we reach our development, where colonial masters then wash their hands off with business in the sense they say, okay, at least say we try live on our own now. We listen, we will govern ourselves, we will get structures, we will look at our leadership and move with the structures around the setup. So from 1961 to date, we don't do for ourselves with the plan with our activities. But the question is, we get anything for celebrate?
All right, well, Kandi, that's a part of the discussion. Yes, Mr. Paul, but what really it mean when we talk about this independence?
Well, the thinking around why we want to stand on our own, now the big question of the way in 1961, we forefathers, they made the British for say, when I left, we let self-govern ourselves. And that one day, it be me say a lot of things in the way the colonial government they do will not be fine. And it cut across Africa, you know, where every African states been the yarn for govern themselves. So Sierra Leone inclusively joined the bandwagon. And that one they make where we see the country through Samilti Magai and others, they're able to make we get independence. Now, the independence itself, whether it's questionable or with the CIAB, as we go with the discussion, we get to know what it will mean, because initially the thinking around independence that we don't get any dealings with any colonial master. But what we see that the complete reverse today, where the British and the Americans, they still govern we indirectly, in the sense we don't, they now 61 years, we still depend on them. Whether we will get the right foundation at that time, or whether currently we they look towards with independence, because we feel say we still they look towards with independence. So questionably, that is the problem. That now we still they look towards with independence, because we don't say we want for Timab on we own, yet all the fabrics of democracy they seem not for even take ground. We see a lot of injustices that they take place now almost every sphere of governance. So that independence, the way Samilti and others then will go take now Britain, now a facade in the sense we don't get series of leaders that we don't pass through democratically means and others through military means. That is not if we see any changes to date. And at that, we all be the hope say Independence Day for be a joyous day, for be a reflectionary day. But today, in between joy and sadness. So that's all day.
Okay, thank you. Before we can really look at probably waiting with President be even offer we few days ago on the 27th in speech to the nation, we address we as a country. I want to look at maybe we founding father, the Samilti Magai of blessed memory. You know, when it be the address we in this country, the time we really get we independence, you know, we be address the people of this country. It be the mention, so key things the way I think say, I want to look at, they will begin now run down to what we president address we, and look at the context of the areas the way they make say, as a government, within 4 years, they don't address A, B, C, D. But now we take a look at waiting probably Miti Magai be the try for reference in some areas and make we know what they happen now. And if I can just make reference to one area of late Miti Magai in talk, where it be the address we therefore face squarely the problem we get for confront we as a nation, and he want for make we all understand say that the Sierra Leone government in the future will depend greatly on me, you, even the one who they listen. For say the need we support and we assistance for make the government in up. But one critical thing we mentioned, I want to read them verbatim, at least let people then get this thing. They say the aim will certainly be to make our country a land worth living. They repeat that one day. The aim, because the aim of them they put for this independence, this is your own country. They say the aim will certainly be to make our country a land worth living in, a land worth surviving. But this can only be done by a wholehearted service and hard work now. In other words, the aim for make we get we independence, it really in day. Now we can't for make this country, everybody in this country, if for no say this country where they enjoy like na paradise. And if we really survive, like how man they talk say about this country right now, they say if I would try for survive. But what in the meeting they say that we will survive in this country. But all only depend but we wholehearted work, service and hard work in this country. What did it take solo on Miti Magai that in statement where he talk about the aim of we independence?
Well, the vision of Miti Magai now was see what we call Swiss alone. You know, the country feel like what Bob Marley say, he say in the pool of water, the fool is thirsty. This country will not really need for suffer the way poverty, you know, we need for exist in our language, on our vocabulary. We are endowed with natural resources, we get water, we get minerals there, the land is good, even the weather condition good, but yet this is the poorest or one of the poorest countries in the world. Also the vision this way Miti Magai be one for this country. You see, but over the years we get bad leadership, divisive politics, and heightened or debilitating, what I call debilitating corruption. These are, we get lawlessness, indiscipline, all the things they don't come over the years. And so the country, a day the way we did. It's unfortunate that we not even get what we call a national vision. The vision where Miti Magai we really get for this country, not what we see now. This country lacks what we call a national vision. What will leadership that you want, or how we want to move this country, or who say want to see this country, a couple of years, let's say in the next 20, 30, 40 years, how we want to see Sierra Leone. You see, the former president of Blessed Memory, Amati Jankaba, if he start time, if he go to call Vision 2025 Swiss alone, that vision, if successive leadership and government that be follow up, this country not go there with it today. But it's unfortunate that politics don't become, you know, a do or die business, so that any political leadership, it gets your vision, we get much of what we call partisan vision, partisan politics. How the party, they want to see the country is not the national vision of the country. So you see, say, we just float in and out. The former president, Amati Jankaba, Blessed Memory, he get that Vision 2025, which to us, the succeeding government at that time for don't run along with them. But we see he left him, he bring in your vision, we call agenda for change. Later we'll see agenda for prosperity. And all this will not work. Agenda for prosperity, we are not prosperous. Now we have the new direction, and what is new in the direction? So you see, say, each government will come, it gets a political vision, which is different from what we call national vision. And until we get it correct, or we get it right, each successive government then will begin to get in your partisan vision, where not to in this country really want. We now come together as a people, look at what is good for this country, and how together with leadership go run along with this. But we know they get up. Right. Each government will come, it gets in your vision. If I call it more partisan vision, because it's different from national vision. Okay,
so you don't really tell me that this country will not even move, will not even get a national vision. Will get party visions, a political party then vision, like how we get now, go to the new direction.
And what is new?
And the last one will get agenda for prosperity.
Agenda for change.
Then give you the agenda, then hold the prosperity. Now we get the new direction, then give you the new, then hold the direction, and the direction says enjoyment for the. And the last come to you, Paul Bai. What thing I take, where Sam Milton, the late of Blessed Memory, they talk about the aim of this country, or the aim of independence. where they talk about, you know, a country, a land worth living in, land worth surviving, but it needs wholehearted service and hard work.
Yeah, you see, if you premise a maiden speech in 1961, at the time, Sierra Leone was a unified country. In other words, everybody be one independence. So that unity, where it be the yarn for, like, extend also to say, we for rely on ourselves, but it encourage every Sierra Leonean for be hardworking. So in as much as they talk about independence, they talk about we need for let we govern ourselves, but also it is stress say we need for be hardworking. And that one day I know reverse drastically. If you go to the streets of Freetown, go to the streets of Bold, McKinney, you see young people in the go beg. Now that is not to be the vision of Sam Milton and the forefathers there. For see, Sierra they beg to a point for reduce their humanity. That was not the thinking. He say political leaders there for be accountable, ministers for go down to the constituents and tell what in government they do. Similarly, so look at councils. He say they need for go and they ward them for talk what's the policy way government they drive at that time, so that everybody go get interest in the governance of the states. He even encourage trade union. Say una I rely on una because now una get for checkmates the operations of any governing party we kind of power. It be encourage the KTND. So at that time they it be not begin nurture democracy very long time ago, 6 decades ago. In nurture that kind of democracy. If we go by the step where some meeting and others they talk about representational democracy, where you go na parliament or you go na council, all those are debates they go back to the constituency. Let people understand. They know how they rule. Today, na a complete reverse. If you employ your people in colleges and when in a school say, una to be hardworking because now they for take leadership tomorrow. Down the all door reverse. So they see how the politics currently and the past 3 decades, bad governance. Now if you see we into war, because everything don't erode. Everything don't erode. People will go into politics as the quickest means for enrich themselves. As they talk so, the opposition they plan now for thief, where they can have power. While someone accept they concentrate the small thing where they come, they try for diverter. This is now the states we will not do now. Complete far away from the thinking of the forefathers them. Just like me, previous speaker will talk, the need for a national vision. Right now, as SLP in power, APC plan their own strategy, where they can afford turn over everything where SLP don't do. This is democracy we will do on the power. There is no national vision. There is no national call for anything. Everything don't erode to politics. Bad politics does not represent this country, and I make today we don't get water. Today we don't get light. Today we don't get medicine. We don't even learn experience from all the war we don't go through. All the Ebola don't miss you. This last slide, all don't miss you. For tell we say religiously, God self don't vex for we say. I don't try for make learn a change. Change is not able to take place. Now the United Union we are the least. Now Africa will still as one of the least developing country. This is where we are as a country. We get a system where even with these voters, the electorates, we are very much vulnerable. Tribalism don't sink in. People don't think country. People don't think tribe. People don't think region. People don't think self. We don't left Sierra Leone. We don't abandon this country. We have left Sierra Leone to the hands of bad politicians. This is where we are as a country. Okay. And not say Samuel say where they now with Shaka Stephen where they so. And that they now they cry for me. Say how what we want for see this country, especially Sam Milton Magai. They go in and grave they cry say not to the salon this way affect the British them for making get independence. That's so we've done it now.
Thank you, and I think you know where you don't bring the issue. Milton Magai makes some statements in meeting speech. But before I go there, because that side I want to link up with current with the statement of the president. At the June plan, they first, but now we come. But some way, he been talk about two things every day. In the first aspect in his speech, he talks about the independence, no, they come for cancer, they change the day-to-day activities, whether they go on. They continue. The governance system, the rule of law, you're a farmer, or you're a clerk, or you're a trader, or you're an artisan, or daily wage worker, or fisherman, or lawyer, or judge, or everything they go on as normal. But the significant way can put, where it talks about the significant change now is we don't completely get control of we destiny and for the formulation of we own external as well as internal policies. And at this they bring me can to them when I talk because they say we don't get a total control of we own destiny. And if we destiny, we not get generational thinkers for plan like with this way director they talk about a national policy, a national program like for 30, 40 years. We only get when political party can have power for them in 5 years, they make an agenda or a party policy for 5 years. How you can run, you can implement your policy within 5 years. We know they give you focus. And what Miti Magai tell now is that the change we don't get this independence. It don't give you total control, a complete control for with destiny and for formulate with external and internal policies there. What in Miti Magai they try for talk and with present day situation, they can't talk about we not get national vision, we not get national agenda. I think we don't really undermine the spirit behind what in Miti Magai be given in that immediate speech where they address the people that will get independence.
Yeah, I mean definitely because like I know Miti Magai said at that time, getting independence means we ready now for our own destiny because before that time the destiny of the country became a colonial master, they are the British. But gaining independence means we want to change the leadership from the colonial masters to we self now, let they lead we self, let rule we self. But from 1961 to date, what really we did for sure? I mean, when somebody is 61 years old, I mean, at age and you are now moving, now you don't begin bend the curve now. There's not much to really show for that. And all boils down to the leadership there over the years of they get. I mean, we don't get generational thinkers, transformational leadership. Now, we lack in this country, people that will get visions. Say, not to the 5 years no more again for look at. And they look at 50 years from now and begin plan this country. Not to just because of the 5 years we then give you, say the term 5 years after which you win, you know win. I mean, in fact, we think it's such that leadership and thinking is more like winning elections. So they don't want to do anything beyond the 5 years when they give them. They don't give 5 years, they make a plan where not just that 5 years. And it's not easy for develop any country, especially we own, within 5 years. Nothing. Like even this current arrangement. You want to talk about agriculture, 5 years, you cannot see much, you only lay the plan.
Well, you can't but that issue of agriculture.
What they say is, this issue of planning for 5 years, I mean, a short term, difficult. I mean, there could be a quick fix, thing and then we go plan quickly, but if you really want to look at total and holistic development, it has to be long term. You really get for planning, put a lot of framework into place. So now this leadership they lack. This 5 year planning, they help this country. The kind of vision we want for this country, we cannot achieve it in 5 years. No.
All right.
It has to be long term.
Okay. Now, JP, I'll come to you because I remember when President Mada Biobi the campaign and if we take power, he mentioned 3 key elements or principles the way they take us in governance where they come for faith. They say in government they come for faith, lawlessness, indiscipline, and corruption. Now, if you look at Miti Magai immediate speech, and then I go and read them verbatim, like how he put on in speech, law we discuss them, and we link her up with what the president don't talk, and what he talk even in the immediate speech. Now, I will the address we the 27th of this of last month. Miti Magai say, I ask you to deal fairly and honestly with your fellow men, to discourage lawlessness, and to strive actively for peace, friendship, and unity in our country. Now, if you look what Miti Magai been talk in those days, we go talk say President Bio be really account for, make sure say he reaffirm the spirit behind the statement of the late Milton Magai in the maiden speech will get independence, which he can for fight lawlessness, indiscipline, and corruption in this country. But what in really they happen?
And I don't feel say President Bio even mean that what they will say in effect lawlessness, because to me it's a facade. And now I talk about one thing. When President Bio assumed office, the thinking around him as a military man, the way they will rate him say it will be the best possible for fight lawlessness, yes, corruption and indiscipline. Now they are a real now beyond imagination, you know, if it starts. Because even within your cabinet, the way it creates, enable for do anything with them. And you know, Samilti Magai, now like what join? Then join the African drive for independence. But there was no foundation where established where able to kickstart. Yet it meets the British then established some amount of systems in place, you know, because they encourage the two-tier governance system where you get the local councils, then they put that decentralization, and this one we will do by the presidential system. So if we don't do, at least every district will get some semblance of the development. But it's not enough for low kickstarts. Now that make way to Yakabakam, he said no. Even in as much as there was disruption in terms of the governance system at the time, because we see Sir Milton, Sir Albert, Sir Stevie, Brigadier Lansana, a number of leaders that come in between. That tells you that the foundation was very weak at the time, you know, and Pagababi Africa reversed down. They say, okay, Switzerland at 2025. That was the vision. But he not be able to explain that thinking for linking with Samiti own thinking. Because if done it if you don't be, and not for see APC, they come with the how can you talk poverty reduction study paper to agenda for prosperity? For goodness sake. Does that make sense? Does it mean anything as a country? Agenda for change. What are you going to change? Now that you don't left free. So similarly, so President Bio said in the campus lawlessness. In thinking, we're not able for question of what it really mean. 4 years down the line, we need for now ask Kale explain me what it mean. Say the fight corruption, the fight indiscipline, and lawlessness. Because all that they go unabatedly in the current regime. They don't establish a commission of inquiry. What they do with that commission of inquiry, there's a white paper, nobody knows. It's just a touch and hibab. So which corruption way they can really face? How they face lawlessness? Even within in cabinet ministers, they all get a questionable characters. You know, listen. Remember we go last week now. The forest reserve. We say notice of minister in the way where they grab land. You know what are you doing? You don't vouchsafe say you are going to fight corruption and lawlessness. If you cannot control your ministers, you cannot go by even your policy will say they can't fight. You know, you can see where they talk like they push her, they gesticulate. But now for less capable, not able to go by what if I do. It doesn't talk, it doesn't make any statements, and that's what we say, and that's why they continue to go for do. And that make it say they do every kind of thing as they want to.
All right, let me take a look at what he don't tell you, because I'm glad the way he don't, because the foundation what they can discuss in speech, it will be based on those three key elements: lawlessness, indiscipline, and corruption. So whether all the areas we don't write and inform we, I make a few days ago I've been in a radio, they ask whether the president may really talk to we as a nation or if they talk to in party, in political party. So we really get for look at this thing in speech we give to the public, whether or not if they talk to we as a nation, as a people, or if they really address in cabinet ministers or political party members. But let's look at what he mentioned. I want to go the other part the way talk. At least we give them, they do well for manage the COVID-19 response, the support them they give to people for cushion the challenges where the COVID-19 don't come put in the country. And but it really come for talk about how they manage the economy responsibly and support private sector growth. They're also able for keep investment in human capital, infrastructure, energy, while they protect and promote rights and good governance. So these are two things that they decided. We can talk, say, there are some semblance of good governance and human rights. Our law we know, our make una break down there for make we the people who they listen, law all understand what you mean. And the other side, the great talk say, they don't manage the economy responsibly. Probably we also need for understand what you mean when they manage this economy responsibly when people in the city cry.
Okay, well, in the area of human rights and good governance or democracy, yes, some efforts have been made because when you look at the repeal of Part 5 of the Public Order Act, you know, to us that's good because we really want, luckily today in our World Press Freedom Day, and we see how we all, including journalists, I mean, we kidnap and talk, although we still get hiccups here and there, you know, but largely really it was commendable that you know, they don't expunge or abolish or remove Part 5 of the Criminal Public Order Act. You know, we see the death penalty, they don't repeal them, abolish them. We see how even the Sexual Offences Amended Act Day, where they really make sure say the issue of gender rights are ensured. You know, we see the First Lady project, you know, for look at the rights, you know, of women and girls. So a lot of good things they happen. But again, we look at how divisive the politics is. We don't get national cohesion. This country is highly polarized. We're divided from the middle. Politics don't split this country into two that if you're not the green, you're for the red. I mean, this is not a division this way, Mr. Magai for this country. If they look at this country as one nation and one people, unfortunately, we see ourselves as different people within the one country. Politics is very, very divisive now. You know, so that all man they give himself bad name now just because he want for gain more grounds. When we talk about indiscipline and lawlessness, it is on the increase. We will look at the fact that the president Bio Wisabi in the NPRC days, of course, democracy not be there at that time. You know, because not to we vote to be given with the at that time. But at some point, we will appreciate them because we will see rigidity, regimental sort of regime, a way of doing things. Will not be like that, but things were a bit straightened during the NPRC days. Order be there. I mean, people were a bit disciplined because I mean the military regime at that time. If you know abide by, I mean, you know what is the outcome. But now we have got a democratic elected president who will say that character trait we get. If we begin the use as small, we really say yes. You know, let's create that semblance. Say we have law and order. But I mean, indiscipline, lawlessness, not all over the place. Everybody do what you want to do. And what you really frustrate yourself, like kind of my brother will say, about a week or so back, he go down by 13. And look at the level of destruction. When people don't go beyond the green belts. And more heart-rending, he attributes that even in some of the ministers are guilty of land grabbing. I mean, people that just be fiti-fata. So that even now, water not in the country. Freetown not get water. All that does because people don't encroach on the green belt. I mean, the forests they all don't become devastated. You go to a region and see how, and would have the more lawless and discipline, the political power, the one they wouldn't get power and authority not there. Because they do something without impunity. Right. What they do, you go, I mean, without get for holding nobody. You know, if not be other parts, either the opposition or the rest of mankind, you do anything, quick, you see the police, they jump into action. But here we have people who get power and authority, they do whatever they do. Nothing happens. Nobody brings them. A case in point now, Abdul Karim, the current Minister of Agriculture. He go grab people land na number 2 river. We don't shout up to the rooftop. The president, nobody's. He has done nothing. This is unfortunate. Now, this is a clear evidence of lawlessness and indiscipline among very, very ministers.
Yeah, okay. That we'll go for candidate, we'll go for discuss and the way they look at agriculture. But I'm happy that una don't really also talk and say, when the president going under my touch, he really acknowledge say, even in ministers, they don't involve in land grabbing, but they don't have to do anything. So which means even in your campaign, we talk say can't fight lawlessness, indiscipline, and corruption, which means the lawlessness, indiscipline, and corruption in this country, it happen at the office of the president, now the highest office in this country. Because if you don't acknowledge a minister they involved in land grabbing, it don't take nothing. That don't tell you say lawlessness, indiscipline, and corruption. It really happen at the office of the president in Sierra Leone. But like I come to you, JP, the president really don't talk about. They don't rehabilitate schools, infrastructure, and this is the flagship program about schools and education. I want to just look at the issue of what you don't really see, the physical trend of the educational system. Now look at from the primary and secondary. Then we take a look at the tertiary situation. Then we can narrow now into what you would refer to as fake degrees. Okay, but not just take first as a government. What really they don't prove to we as a country, whether they call it Sierra Leone first and say Sierra Leone are the anthems of West Africa.
In fact, that slogan they've been likened to the Sierra Leone People's Party. And to date, even APC, they talk say the SLP in a Bookman party. And down nobody no go dispute them, you know. So SLP get that kind credits in the favors, you know. And I want to say this, of all the ministers where President Bio appoint, the best of all now Dr. David Senge. You know, the kind radicalization we don't bring into educational systems, you know, and the way in which it carry the ministry. I feel say every possible like this country supposed for supports Dr. Senge in drive. You know, he meets his predecessor. Okay, so we don't try a bit. He try for like triple what we don't do, and everybody they talk about the flagship program. When are the president you know, but even before that, we need to also talk about Alpha Timbo, because the knots and belts, nine we don't start time initially. You know, but then again, we talk about bad governance. What's Apple, nothing Apple, they say rest loss. You know, where rest loss, we still say they suspect Alpha Timbo. But eventually they reinstate them. You know, so in fact, good governance to me, they still quite questionable in this regime, because then they profess say they adhere to good governance, but that seemingly so, not holistically the real picture. You know, the Bisenge don't they try in own, and even Alfawari, you know, himself, you know, he take over office from a predecessor, then we get some kind of serious challenge in terms of universities, which campus for making university status. The predecessor said no. So college they will not use forget university, and I'm sure the predecessor was right, because how can you have a university when not get professors, not get better doctors in? So the foundation was is very weak, you know. But then if you say you have effect change, you get for start somewhere. Say also for give credence to Alfawari for able for establish at least every region now gets in your university where you go boast of. That is speak to the decentralization policy. You know, and down in a very good thing where that all they had to what the president in free quality education scheme they go with. But recent revelations we don't create a flavor of the mouth. This fake degree syndrome, you know, they don't bedevil with governance systems so much to a point where we see several press releases, you know, coming from government, coming from civil society organization, coming from every state institution like the ACC and others, for actually shed light into that kind of issue. So it's a big challenge where we see in the education sector, because this is the flagship of the president. And to date, we not hear nothing coming where they come up from the president. To me, I'm a bit very much worried, you know, because you don't do so much money you don't give 21% budget allocation to the education.
And education
sector.
in flagship.
Now, in flagship, if you dey see people there, then they get degree where they expire, they resurrect back. You see, if the man will go make married for you, Abubakar Karim, when I'm Minister of Agriculture, you don't say, now go tell the cola.
Okay, so let me give you the linkage.
So
we make the man like you do anything,
no,
you get the president in protection.
You cannot bite the finger that fits you.
Okay.
That man now responsible for leg and woman.
So,
you know, so
all right, Lord have done the yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
in the beginning, see why is it that me get I mean, this is about integrity as well, and me, of course, members of parliament themselves then get their own downside. You see, who side that beats the opposition, eh? Mm-hmm. Their assumption into office, you see them go beat, go to OSD. Now, like Salon go into a new war because this was a situation at parliament. This were our representatives. Mm-hmm. That means 7 million people. Now they go fight Narasmo also. Mm-hmm. Eh? Serious fighting with OSD and that kind of thing. And that's the result of the see. There is no vetting in terms of who they go for get what appointment.
Okay, Lord, just hold you. I want to look at that issue of vetting. I think I've been trying to call the State House Communication Unit today. I called them. I talked to somebody there and asked. I've been trying to ask about this Abubakar Karim, the Minister of Agriculture, because we understand say when the president been nominated as minister, where he submit in credentials in the parliament, the issue of doctor, he did it as part of in credential for say he don't do in doctorate in a doctor, he did it. But yet the State House, when the president nominates, because Owalo also made that clear to people, because sometimes when people in Kiyeri say that man they get fake degree and president nominate as if say office of the president is aware. Now nominate somebody. So the one they wait for do the vetting na parliament. And the gentleman really tell me say, Law ask parliament, I really try to reach out to the clerk of parliament for make I really ask him, but it don't be able to go through. But what in this they tell we as a nation, when people they submit their credential as presidential nominee, parliament not get the opportunity for check for and verify even the certificate or the degrees when they present, then just say approve, say go ahead. Would that be really responsible for the academic failure in this country?
No, I mean, this thing, go for talk straight, you know, as it is and as it were. Abu Karim na Camilo, you know Camilo, you know say
it change, yeah.
It change the color there. Mm-hmm. To me, it lied to the president. You know, wake up UK, wake up, say, in get PhD. And at that time, there was no vetting. Mm-hmm. In alliance with the president, because okay, can't be presidential advisor.
Yes, and so because
now,
you don't
yes,
get a doctor.
Yes.
So presidency and say,
so,
this man a big man,
in a doctor.
Yeah, they can't become Professor Francis David Kaikai.
Yes, you
David
know.
Francis.
Yes, the Francis say professor. Well, if Francis get professor, why myself no get PhD? Whether I do money or not do money or then in the president you. So you see, I catapult from there. He go as deputy minister. Mm-hmm. When he got as deputy minister, there was no vetting. Mm-hmm. By the time when they promote now they came in the minister Kaisa. In fact, the PhD expire because this time you know say they go to the select committee and they get for vet. So you know go to parliament without PhD. Mm-hmm. In fact, now they say they say the man get juju. Mm-hmm. I think keep the PhD. By the time they reach the parliament, you don't keep the PhD. Mm-hmm. Yes, he keep her. So we don't. I mean, you know, we don't get parliament because what's it there before parliament? I don't say that PhD. No, me I still believe that day. Now the one will be there in the State House. They will go as deputy minister. They be there. Mm-hmm. Then you can see now. As they don't make a minister, now you say, la change back, la get the PhD.
Yes, and they put on their Facebook, their web, their culture ministry, put on Dr. Abubakar Karim.
The man they go, show the people, let them see what he puts that notice about Dr. Abubakar Karim. It go world back meeting as a doctor.
So what does this mean? Because the fact is, what you make I will not bring this issue, and not only one grade. Okay, numbers of people that we don't inside the system. But we see outside teachers, school picking them where they go even fake or where they go even spy. Now exam, then what's exam? Then they parade them, then they shame them. But we the big one for sex example. We don't behave recklessly. We don't really go, we don't fit inside watching president talk about lawlessness, indiscipline, and corruption to the highest degree. And yet, none of them big one there. Nothing not do them. But yet, all picking they do small thing. Every side, any corner we go, they became ready for Lambuk, they do per Facebook, then they per social media, this and that, they punish them. And yet, the elders, them, senior citizens, go for set example to future generations. They go unpunished. They still serve in governance. What does that mean to the future of this country?
It's an unfortunate situation, you know, because when you look at the flagship of this current administration over the top of education, indeed, they have done so well. I mean, kudos to the current minister. He has done so well. But the issue of the welfare of the teachers, we know say at some point, yes, they will not make some increments for the teachers. But when you look at the current take-home salaries of teachers, it's nothing to write home about. And if you look at a teacher, like the classroom, where you don't get fake degree, and he's earning a salary where you not even, not to even a living wage. Here you have a fake minister who is earning millions and millions upon millions at the end of the month for having a fake degree. I mean, how are you going to compromise them to them day? How are you going to look at those two issues? A teacher who has gone through the crucibles of education, looking at the current context and situation, it's difficult for Lambuk in this country. Spending 4 years, 5 years in university, you don't get a degree. If you want to go on a teaching field in the FBC, you get for 1 year that diploma day. If you want to get more money in the classroom, people they go through all that. After 4 or 5 years, they get a genuine degree. The civil servants and they get fake degrees, and they are earning so much. The poor teacher they and that will get a degree genuinely, when I actual degree, they get much. And this current regime, they do much for really ensure say they bring their issues there. This issue of harmonization of salaries, which is when the new administration become into power, they will get what we call, they say they harmonize wages or salaries. Where are we on this discussion? 4 years down the road, we will not see no commission on salary harmonization, nothing. How can he pay a graduate teacher more so like a principal 1.4, 1.5 million, and an administrative assistant na electoral commission 4.55 million? Sometimes even a driver they get 2-3 million. Now some of their parastatals or MDAs. And you have teachers with a master's degrees, we're not to fake then take home now with 2 million. I mean, to me, I cannot understand this. Government has to do something in terms of this harmonization of salaries because it's frustrating. This is why the other day, concerned teachers, teachers for solidarity or whatever they call themselves, they want to go on strike. And at the same studio where they come, AYV, the spokesperson, where you come out, the police arrest her, and later on they left her. This is not good for our democracy. President, at least before we go into next year, let's start to talk about this harmonization of salaries. I mean, it causes disaffection. People they're not happy. They feel bad. I cannot imagine me qualify. Because now we're Indian at the civil service. I mean, he's earning more than somebody who's a teacher. I agree, we cannot increase all salaries together. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, let the difference not be too huge and massive. Okay.
But take time more because now AYV day so may not come on do then go.
No,
So anyway, thank you so much. We don't set that system. But the facts we would think say probably the president also need for take a leadership or a bold step. If the president don't assess within in cabinet, he cannot go into MDAs, like then civil servant, the other directors or whatever. But at least in cabinet ministers, would that get fake documents? Let set them aside. Let begin. Let put governance not to party, not to like party business. Now you private property, now they run, make us party, but governance, not a family issue, not a party business. Because you are dealing with the state, you are dealing with different people, including the opposition. So I think the president need for take a bold step for maintain what he been talking about lawlessness, indiscipline, and corruption. If we not see take appropriate step, then which means NCSF they condone lawlessness, indiscipline, and corruption at the highest office. Now we can not look at, because the president talk about how they don't, in just than 4 years, they don't hire and train beaucoup nurses in this country. Fair enough. Well, we know say yes. They don't hire them. They don't train some this and that. But what is the practical reality of the medical situation in this country?
No, I want touch on this nursing issue, but with the background with the agricultural sector. You know.
I hope you know they bring camp the degree way.
No, I mean President on day where President don't set already. When Ebola struck, the Minister of Health was Miata Kagbo. And when I can notice, say, Miata Kagbo was just a nurse and a deputy, a qualified medical personnel. And that it coincided with the visit of Harvard Medical School, where they became established that farm that the country will look at CDC, you know. So immediately, President Nkrumah sacked Miata Kagbo, a reliever of a duty. Now, similarly, so we don't see Abubakar Karim, when a nurse.
We don't do agriculture.
You know,
no, I want to hang that small because we can't discuss agriculture. The president don't talk about agriculture, and I did it right now. So just go no more. Just talk about the nursing because now the appropriate way get for link her up.
Well, the nursing, I don't know, President Abu Karim, they work with Debbie for just they do that nursing business. Debbie, of course, they do extremely very well. You know, it take up position where strike been there, the Minister of Health, and he able for catapult address the difficulties and the way to date we know any cry again about pin code, that kind of thing there. So it don't do so much well, you know, and of course the predecessor will be the Alpha Uri, we said we don't do well for established training schemes for nurses as part of the scheme. So they do similarly very well and they try.
So, which means as a government, the government they try, but the institution itself, I think will get a challenge.
Yes, indeed. But again, me get a contrary view. Why I do appreciate yes, the current administration, now health and sanitation don't they really do well, but you know, we still get challenges because the what we call service charter, what they cannot. The prices that they did for the services that we cannot render is highly prohibitive. It don't double or even triple. So that even basic things like gloves are patient and the buyer. So I want to appeal to the minister, make it go back and review that service charter. That price what they did is high. In fact, I even understand for some of the nurses that we are getting as paddy. They say some people they even escape and the balance. When it did at the hospital 2-3 days. We look at how much you get for pay, bed fee, or whatever, because the money we did in currently is so high. So the balance and net number just to take in back a high come on at the hospital.
The patient there.
Yes, the patient only because you know you pay. So government really get for. I mean, the other day we engage the Connaught administration on this, and the excuse what they gave at that time was that the cost of dentistry is so high, and the current cost with the patient and they pay for them till if that's not when they continue, they're not going to provide them services. But what you don't understand, and we are asking the fact that government is spending about 12% of the budget, or even 12% over that, to health. How is that translated into the practical reality so that when you sick, you go to hospital, especially like Connaught, you're able to get that services at a reduced cost or at a favorable cost where citizens will be able to afford. But make I not tell you lie. Today you go to Connaught, that service charter because they say they do in agreement with Anti-Corruption Commission. But to me, that's not neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, when somebody poor he go to hospital. If you're able to get treatment at the end of the way, you come out. But if the cost is so high, it's so prohibitive, I mean, I think that would be Bokumande, either a paper doctor or a Leron or died. This is not good for the health of this country. Mr. President, if you flagship project education for succeed, you must have a healthy population. If somebody not get good health, they will go sit down in a classroom for every lad. So I appeal to you for investigate that health ministry. That service charter agreement or whatever within a Connaught hospital, it really high, it's highly prohibitive because the prohibitive very high. It's 3-4 times the initial cost, where it above the reach of the ordinary Sierra Union. So I appeal to you through your minister for whether we visit that agreement day.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, family, if you just tune your TV, you listen to State of Independence, moving with the good, the bad, and the ugly in the freedom train. Right now, AYV, Media Empire Channel 33. They listen to it. This is the State of Independence program, yeah? We will continue discussion because today we look at the independence, what it means to we as a country. So we analyze and discuss what in the president talk, we look at what in the happen now with not daily lives, the practical things that will happen, not to what in probably the minister and the good president, but we the try for talk what will happen to the people of this country, will make it known to the government so that they will see how they will redirect their policies. Now we're coming into agriculture, the brother. Presidency, and this I want to read myself because this is very interesting. And before I read this, somebody they been saying on social media. That's why president go to Vietnam. Now somebody say, they say president make farm na Tomabo. He go harvest na Vietnam. You know, that was it. He be just not just joke anymore. Lord, just, at least for Lord, me just make fun. But Lord just look at what the president say. They say in 4 years, he said we don't increase agricultural productivity. In 4 years, we don't increase agricultural productivity. And they make a statement now. They talk what the president they talk, and then they also reflect what they talk at state of this the day of the independence. They say in 4 years, we don't increase agricultural productivity. We don't introduce more mechanization in all the 16 districts. They don't provide more inputs support for farmers. They don't establish more new cash crop fields. They don't expand agricultural value chains. This more than any government don't ever do in 4 years. Then young government. Pass all of the government there. They don't increase productivity, agricultural productivity. Which type of agricultural productivity what they don't increase? Rice, beans now, couscous, you just name them because the native barabara rice will be buy from my mama for this first month. I buy on 420,000 euros. If productivity don't go up, I think I will buy 120,000. But now we know what this increased productivity in the agricultural system, what president talk. And with the policy with the charge, because I believe they talk say the policy with they didn't announce. So how you can do? So I think I don't know what in the man they tell the president, and the president they talk. Because I think
you know, that talk the artist president, the ops president, was say in 4 years he don't do agriculture past any other president. That complete joke. What is the joke? He said the joke in the book itself. Because he go put nose. Man, where they clean so food. Penda. Now you go make minister of agriculture. So you go imagine now. So that make president say he don't do anything past any other government.
Yes, they don't increase productivity. Agricultural productivity.
If the paper don't go up, Palma don't go up. Now this man they say he don't do past any other government. You know that speech, that cut-and-paste speech, will not reflect the country. You know, because if really that speech, I don't think the president be read that first before he ever go make that thing. I think when they at the studio, 9 again, he just read. Because if he really vets that speech, if I drop that side.
Yeah, because maybe they ask themselves, say, whether the president they address the people of this country or they really address the political party. The SLPP as a party, yes, because it said they increase agricultural productivity. What? Yes, Mr. Sologwadi.
You see, Paul, by don't talk up. I mean, the leadership, the agriculture in terms of the minister is nothing to write home about. I mean, the government has spent a lot of money in the agriculture ministry, but there is nothing to show. Mark, you, I think it was last year we gather civil society government. interface at Napot Loco, who call, I think 2 or 3 ministers.
Yes, in Sebede.
Immediately, for them to really go get account of what they happen at the ministry. And that was the worst presentation by the so-called Abubakar Karim. We don't even understand nothing during that interface day. You know, we tell you nothing because what you want from her, what is that the number of acreage with the under productivity and what are the proposed yield what this country will get, perhaps giving looking at the given number of months, say in the next 5-6 months, now so much we don't of land with the under cultivation. Now this kind of number of yields or percentage of yields we expect. We don't see nothing. And here you have a nurse where they claim for get a PhD in what? In agriculture. The man not sabi nothing, and this is the post where they go put as Minister of Agriculture. What will they go deliver? I mean, and you get president, they go talk, say...
They don't increase productivity. Agricultural productivity.
From where to where?
Well, that we discuss now. So let them explain to the people of this country.
Tell us the baseline. Now, yeah, we don't meet her. Now, also we don't increase and to what? Because it's not reflected on the life of the people. You go to market, even homegrown food, it's more expensive as imported thing. So what do you want to tell me?
No, at least they don't do something, but Sokfin, the country they produce palm mine,
but even
they supply palm mine. Now other countries, that's agricultural productivity.
Yeah, but you go to market ask for a pint of palm mine now. I mean, everything locally produced is really, really expensive. That tells you we are not there yet. Even the Tomabom, we know there have been some investment in Tomabom, but we are yet to see the result. This other one again, na the north yonder by Lunge, where the vice president began for go launch an agricultural project. I mean, would they expect now by now rice for the really flood the market? Native rice. But I mean, it's so expensive. That tells you will not still reach the productivity level yet. We really people that will say yes, indeed.
So probably watching would they expect the president that they don't do a lot of investments. Not to foresee they don't increase agricultural productivity, but they don't do some investment in the agricultural sector. We probably in the near future, even sometime before 2023, before the election, we go begin see less na the streets. So I go determine whether
what do we want from the speech writers? You know, when they made any kind of pronouncement, get a baseline force. Now, yeah, we meet productivity in terms of agriculture. Now, so much we don't increase up in terms of productivity. And waiting at the thing that we don't put into the thing. How much budget you don't put into agriculture? What you don't buy? Even the tractorization, how is that being used? Mm-hmm. It's not just party person no don't go give tractors there for many if I'm more often than not with the system tractors and transport they use up and then community there. They use as transport for people there from here to there. So the president will get good vision. He means well in terms of what they say. But the reality on the ground not really show say there have been increase in agriculture. Because we know the same. I mean a lot of money there we will not say they have invested into agriculture. But the reality is that we don't see that reflected in the life of citizens at all, Mr. President.
In addition to that, you see, like a complete mockery of the situation because if Sierra Leone they import over $200 million just on rice, you know quantum of money there, then we need to produce rice for feed ourselves. You know, and the same Minister of Agriculture and government that they encourage that CTC, that community trading commodity, when a Lebanese own for the import rice, then demand the same for within 4 years. No government no ever do it. Let's stop first for pay for imported rice, pay for tomato paste, pay for Maggi, because all food stuff now imported. So who's kind of productivity where the president talk? And I want to say this, make a yeri or make the go tell her that 2023 elections we go for establish fact check scheme. Any politician where they can lie, will they begin track them by the lies, by the statement there 1 year to election, and we go make it so popularly known that everybody for listen to the program for know which president will they lie or which political party leader will they lie or which MP will they lie, because we don't want to see we don't 61 years and we want to see people the way now go get us them they lead we as we lead as them. These are the time we will go for launch for screen whoever they can contest. Maybe now we don't left them. Then I make all man just go take paper and say in this and nobody vets. We go for the from council level to the presidency, go for launch a fact check political parties campaign so that they go more understand all what they talk to. They say, oh, go for put up.
Okay, in fact, we they work on now for make sure say between now and even 2023, all the one there from 2013.
Yes.
All government officials where we don't get government grants, where they go say they take the government they pay money for go develop them capacity for go do them training college where they get certificate from AGU. We get for compile all that one and make them public as we go towards the election because exactly. This is state money. Now people the money where them they pay whether that be a syndicate them they use because the previous government I remember when the former president be the comment the way he make this guy at the head of the civil service the civil service training college yes where they comment that I say in fact with this AGU now added value to the civil service training college and government be they pay for civil servant therefore get a certificate for build up their capacity and they are paying to that institution.
You're talking of a scheme of
so now like a scheme
over thousands civil servants.
Oh yes, over thousands of civil servants who don't go through that process
because it was a legal undertaking.
Exactly.
Because for president na endorse am and then they not stop. You see back the recurrence of it. Now they see this current government back. But if they say the leader of government business they go the permanent secretary when the clerk of parliament
yes
they all na AGU
they go so many they even spend how many $1,000 for go Dubai for go get and we know imagine
let me ask you because now who go na that Dominion college.
Okay, we'll go monitor.
You see anything where they show say now university this?
No, that is not even like not even a primary school because we go there. It's so interesting. And in this country, they don't. In fact, now this make way the president need for do something. If not do unto civil servant, but they do within in cabinet ministers because your flagship program now education, and the conduct of some of them people also they make mockery of education. They make mockery of them picking the way they go mistakes by. They make shame by them, but they don't commit the highest crime. Then in fact, they enjoy luxurious houses, luxurious vehicles, luxurious payments. They eat fitifata, enjoy money, fitifata. Then they go back scot-free. But yet, we pick them. They say they see the result. They know they give the result. They know this. But the big one, the way they set example, then they enjoy. Anyway, it is just a listen to state of independence, moving with the good, the bad, and the ugly in the freedom train. When you continue with the program, but they can get a short break, when they come back, the phone line will be open. When I say when they listen to this program, make una add a voice to this program. So if you just tune your TV, they listen to State of Independence, moving with the good, the bad, and the ugly in the freedom train.
That's election train. It's coming now.
Oh yes, this na time for know about you right and other thing them inside Salone. Now that's make the Human Rights Defender Network Salone. They come up with the program title State of Independence, moving with the good, the bad, and the ugly in the freedom train. This program will come up first Tuesday inside every month from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And this program go to meet you from AYV TV channel 33. This program go look and talk about human rights education, the rule of law, justice, accountability, and democracy. Be part of the program and know waiting the happen na Salone. The Human Rights Defender Network Salone don't snap before per human rights business na Salone. Watch State of Independence, moving with the good, the bad, the ugly in the freedom train every first Tuesday inside every month na AYV TV channel 33. The Human Rights Defender Network Salone, they get support from Irish Aid for bring this program come to una. Well, you self can support the Human Rights Defender Network through this Orange and AfriMoney number. The Orange Money number na 073-628-700. AfriMoney na 088-122-262. Or you can use bank account for support the Human Rights Defender Network Salone. And the account number na 601-016-4893. And the bank name na Zenith Bank SL. The account name na Human Rights Defender Network. Don't forget to for be part of the program and know what thing them with the happen inside Salone.
This train is coming.
Yes, indeed. The freedom train. You see, and they say we don't need no tickets. Just get on board. All that you need, we need, now clean hands and to be pure in hearts. Now that we forefather, the late Samiti, my God of blessed memory. Now let me go get in our background as now they see. Though they put even all the presidents they don't pass, we see now they see them facing. For me to just reflect what it means to we as a nation who don't join the civilized nation there as a country where they control who your future, who your destiny, they now we hand. You the one that we want to add the voice to this program. You the phone number we will call now 077 398893 077 398893. Now, number that they will call add the voice to the program. Remember, say they listen to State of Independence, moving with the good, the bad, and the ugly in the freedom trade. We'll carry on with discussions, and if you just want to make your voice to this program, now 077 398893. Let's go to the back. You know, the president also talked about how they don't build more roads, more bridges, including rural roads and bridges, major international highways to Liberia, the highway, Moyamba, Mabang Bridge, Makbili Bridge, and also the work and the Kono and Kalao district. I think we don't get to call our logo online. Hello, Kola. Good evening.
How evening? How the body? Thank you.
Yes. Your name also go from, please.
This is Kele from IMAD.
Go ahead.
Yes, I get the number one question for answer. The president hosting the meeting now in place concerning it. You know how the youth they come. You know whether they need the youth. You know how much for the branding and number one. Number two, the lights where the man the kusa in the lights not the go. The office lights not the go kusa in the lights not the go. So you know get for nothing. Lights they or lights not the you know get for nothing. Any waka. We been get president the way they don't pass. We mean the worker, if they know the lights don't go under, lights they under, if they go buy market, if they go buy market, if they go na Kuchoro, if they go na all the markets there, they go learn almost 14 and they sell. So that is number three. Number four,
yeah.
The motor car where the man they use, it no matter who's galloping, enter, it no get for nothing, the whole bad way, no bad. You understand? Then he check for the ambulance. Not all thing they talk now, because that is a salon decision. What thing they talk and what thing they talk, not all thing we will do. You understand? We know that they. But look, we do 100% for what thing they talk. So that is a me own concern than this.
Thank you very much, sir. All right. So the man in concern say the president they're going to market, so you don't know what they cost the day. We talk about increased productivity. Blackout day. Up to now, we not even boast of 24 hours uninterrupted lights. Let's go back on that. Hello, Kola. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Alfonso Mani.
Yeah, your name also go from, please.
This is Omega, they come from IMAD.
You live on air, sir. This is State of Independence.
I'm really happy when I get online. When you talk about the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, I'm really happy. We know the Ministry of Health is go together with our from the left. Really, it talks indeed. Now we get a healthy nation. Now you for acquire quality education, and we see what's really happening at the country. Even though we still know when at the Canadian network on the rights to food, they try to push for let people they know their rights to the right to food. But yes, still the government they give a lip service to that idea. And with the same thing that happened, the malnutrition rate in this country is very, very high. In the country, they say, stomach boom, they don't increase agricultural productivity. I will actually say, this is not a failed report, this. Not a failed report. It's not objective at all, not. You go to the market, the local produced rice is very expensive than the imported rice. Then what are the use of tomato? So tell me. So it's like a provoked situation with a good through so now. And if we not continue to be objective to the people then, I'm telling you, this country really good before. Unless with leadership, they're able to tell the people the right. The people that know say yes, this government they don't achieve now. They don't tell the truth before ever this country they go before. I really tell you thank you. I will call you. I will want to be part of this program in the forthcoming program.
No problem. You are most welcome, sir. Thank you. 077-398893. The number that will call and add the voice to the program. If you just tune your television, you listen to State of Independence, moving with the good, the bad, and the ugly in the freedom train. And Sierra Leone, what you did our coat of arms, now unity, freedom, and justice. We don't get a caller log online. Hello, caller, good evening.
Hello. Good evening.
Yes, you know what I call from, please.
I come from Bo.
They're live on TV.
Nina Moses. It's like, I'm really happy for this program. Please, check the leadership of Asset Commission.
Okay.
So corrupt, so mix up, so box up. Please.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So we go for try for make sure to reach out to the Asset Commission for check what they go on there. That now other thing. Thank you very much. 077-398893. My number that will call and add a voice to the program. This now State of Independence, moving with the good, the bad, and the ugly in the freedom train. Bombay don't can say we don't need money. You know, we don't need tickets for run this country. Just get clean hands and pure in heart. So alone, the better. If we all follow what we get as with national pledge, this country, now paradise. All right? Now, caller there, I think it just be the try for flash. Why would they continue for talk? We see what the president don't talk about with regards to public infrastructure. They don't build log online. Hello, caller, good evening.
Hello, good evening. Sir, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, sir. Your name also call from, please. Come on here, your TV, please. We know they get you clear. Hello? All right. 077-398893. The president, they talk about Nasit Naya, an ultra-modern foreign service academy, weighing about $40 million. Then they build a airport terminal, rehabilitated weighing about $270 million. Anyway, hello, caller, good evening. Hello? Hello? Hold on, Mr. Caller there. Hello, caller, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, your name was call from, please.
I now the call from Bo.
Is your life on air?
Yeah. I like how you go ahead with this program, but I want to do everything the right way. But let the layman understand waiting that they talk, because now it's like when I go for batch at the president way, owners they talk, so a lot of people they talk nowadays. And me now they on CBD to road, so the monitor when they don't now the southeast. But let put politics of true talk in Sierra Leone. If not, we will still be like the same square forever and ever. Goodbye.
Thank you very much, sir. God bless you. We don't talk politicians here. We don't talk politics on this TV. We they talk what in they go on at the country. Hello, caller. That's unfortunate. We don't represent any political party. Hello, caller. Good evening.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm fine, sir. Name also call from, please.
Yeah, the call from my mouth. But yeah, what you want to, the president, the government, them, let them go hospital. Now, yeah. One. Secondly, all get blackouts. Thirdly, the road them, not to wear president for go them patch road. Let them for the patch road them. They work and feel waiting the other night to be the field. A president and a servant. The president not to push away now for candy up like Jesus. If you come down.
Okay.
So my own concern is let all Philippines let you know that they work for God. And this world, nobody where they live for 110, 115, we all get for die. Two get for Congo before.
Amen.
So but in this world, look at the other president and the party member for tomorrow for picking them. That's not my cause. I don't forget about politics and put everything directly out for go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, caller. Good evening. Hello, Mr. Caller. 077-398893. And number that you will call. Hello, caller. Good evening.
Yes, sir. How do you do, sir?
Fine. Your name also call from, please. All right, come on here the TV, please. Come on here the TV.
Hello?
Yes? Is the live on air? Go ahead. Call out, don't they get to you? Okay, better at least line don't cut off. We'll go only take like 3 more calls or 4. Then we allow my panelists there for. Hello, caller. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, the name of the call from, please.
This is time from Bo.
The live on air. This is a state of independence.
Okay. I think the issue we get at this country are the monitoring. One of our biggest problem.
Okay.
Take like from Bo. 24-hour lights with them saying go they can actually trust me with that and might be strong or put you fridge on. They get so much faulty meters the way they around. We I think even after they run across. Because they have to change them meter up to now. Before that they make people they make commitments with a certain amount. You know even for you to measure the amount of lights without positive actually for pay for the light we they use. So that's one. Then 2, we get the health system. Go to columns, go to our government hospital. There is no structure. You go to social kiosks. You know, that's the big problem at this country. The monitoring. The way the president will take over power, we see where they're gonna like UB lane before 8 o'clock on the 19th. But now all that not happen. So much traffic like no monitoring. People they do it for 1 for 2. You know the problem is so much. Okay. You know I think like monitoring system we need for put in place.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think this is the last lucky caller. I will not get more time again. Time don't be a 3 bad one. Hello caller. Good evening.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, you must call from please.
They call from Leicester.
The live on air. This is a state of independence.
Oh yeah, this new first constitution the population. This will move the new for we from 3 planting to model yard. But this will not the first contact for the study those who see the time that we stop. Up to now we see in the council so no go we get the for them we see we can system what more they want to
okay
from this place. So that's the first contact. So we go concern about the school free education with no president speak out. President education is disappointing because he talk about the free education will come and what the talk to manifesto not to do to the country. Yes, that's important.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, then I last lucky caller day. I go start with you, Solo. Make you give your last word and say goodbye to family.
My last word to the president. We know say you get good intention for this country. You got a good vision. You wanted this country really be the paradise where you want to see. Unfortunately, you get some of your foot soldiers, your ministers that will not really deliver. And until you root them out, and not say you will be successful. Till next week or next month, I say goodbye.
Yes, Mr. Paulby?
Yeah, I feel say President is supposed for now go for meet the people, let him know really what's the burning issues, not to for allow a politician that they report to her. Let it go, meet the community, know the thinking of the average Salonian. Because at that one day, like, go make him know the sufferings of the people. Not to for let SLP supporter they can't tell what he want to hear. See the real disconnect. All the callers there talk about issues where everybody know that the country. But juxtapose that with his speech. Now a different scenario. The speech not speak to the current situation at the ground. We hope say in next public appearance, let himself, if you get speech writers, but let it detect waiting for me the content of those speeches because where you go talk them, people are going to see them. Not like how Pakaba all the speeches where they make, if they get that ceremony and thinking in them, if they see them, if they visualize them, this one you go begin to imagine which kind of speech this way they make. we give fair the thing we don't do because we don't see that.
Okay.
So I say bye to all the viewers.
All right.
Of this program.
I want to tell plenty thanks to we valuable viewers who now call and add on voice to the program. We tell them plenty thank you. We want to tell plenty thanks to who now the one that we call. We not able to take them call. We say sorry, better luck next time. We tell plenty thanks to we studio technicians that will help we for bring this program to you. Me will bring the program to you. Me na Alphonsus Biangbani, we na the Executive Secretary of Human Rights Defenders Network Sierra Leone. Until next month, June, the first Tuesday, we advise every single Sierra Leonean, every Tuesday, first Tuesday of every month, 7 to 8:30, 9th State of Independence, they come to know from AYV channel 33. Then every Saturday, 3 to 4, you get Hard Talk, where they count on our back from AYV Radio FM 101.7, right now AYV Media Empire. Until next week, until next month, Tuesday, me, now our producer, Alphonsus Biangbani.
That's election train. It's coming now.
Oh yes, this na time for know about you right and other thing them inside Saloon. Now that's make the Human Rights Defender Network Saloon, they come up with the program title State of Independence, moving with the good, the bad and the ugly in the freedom train. This program will come up first Tuesday inside every month from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And this program go to meet you from AYV TV channel 33. This program will look and talk about human rights education, the rule of law, justice, accountability, and democracy. Be part of the program and know waiting the happen na Saloon. The Human Rights Defender Network Saloon don't snap before per human rights business na Saloon. Watch State of Independence, moving with the good, the bad, the ugly in the freedom train every first Tuesday inside every month na AYV TV channel 33. The Human Rights Defender Network Saloon, they get support from Irish Aid for bring this program come to una. Well, you self can support the Human Rights Defender Network through this Orange and Afri Money number. The Orange Money number na 073-628-700. Afri Money na 088-122-262. Or you can use bank account for support the Human Rights Defender Network Saloon. And the account number na 601-016-4893. And the bank name na Zenith Bank SL. The account name na Human Rights Defender Network. Don't forget to for be part of the program and know but thing them where they happen inside Saloon.
This train